Blazblue Entropy Effect is a strange existence, a game that no one really asked for by a team with virtually no track record. In fact, for years Blazblue fans have been yearning for a new mainline title to follow up from the fan favorite Blazblue Central Fiction. So, when people caught wind that the Blazblue property was being used in an indie roguelike side-scroller, i.e. not a fighting game, the reception was perplexed, but cautiously optimistic. While I do like Blazblue from what I have played, I'm not that invested in the franchise. What I'm concerned with is if Blazblue Entropy Effect holds its own as a game, and in this video we're going to explore that. Is Entropy Effect a Blazblue game? The short answer is no. The playable characters are ripped straight from the mainline Blazblue fighting game series. However, they could easily be reskinned or replaced with character functions that fulfill the same archetypes, and the game would effectively be the same. Why Arc System Works' original property was chosen to represent the combat in Entropy Effect is anyone's guess. You could argue both that it either helped or hurt the initial player interest in the game. Regardless, the dev team uses it in a decently interesting and novel way. A run in Entropy Effect, known as Mind Training, takes you through 4 areas with multiple battles and a boss fight each. You can choose different nodes to visit that reward upgrades for your character. These range from passive perks that activate during combat, known as tactics, to new additions to your moveset, called potentials. Potentials can either be universal, like extra dodges and jumps, or attacks or skills that are unique to your character. Other than battles, you can encounter a points shop, take on buffs or debuffs, and roll for random benefits. At the end of Mind Training lies a final boss, so hopefully by then your character is properly equipped to take it out. It is important to note that the game is roguelite and not roguelike, where your compounding runs allow you to make it further each time thanks to a universal progress system. Mind Training, whether successful or failed, generates an Evo type at the end, where some of the upgrades can be inherited by the next one you start. The game stores a number of them and are not consumed, so you can choose up to 2 Evo types to take depending on your needs. Beating Mind Training unlocks difficulty toggles that make the run more difficult in exchange for greater rewards, adding a dimension of replayability. Your bank of Evo types can also be consumed in mind challenges, where you directly challenge the game's bosses. The stronger you make the Evo type in Mind Training, the stronger your character is to take on the boss. Eventually, you unlock a boss rush mode, Mind Trial, that also forces you to bring out your best. There's definitely a gratifying feeling accessing Evo types from your best runs and putting them through the gauntlet. Mind Training starts you with an attack string, a heavy attack, a dodge and dodge attack, and a skill. Characters also have aerial attacks and skills with varying properties. As you unlock more potentials, you gain new moves like crouch attacks, special dash attacks, more skills, or strengthen existing moves. Some potentials will synergize with each other, adding properties you otherwise wouldn't have access to. Of course, your attacks and potentials are heavily inspired by the character's original Blazblue moveset, though definitely not one-to-one. The kits are quite thematically faithful and properly adapted to a side-scrolling PvE game, retaining the identity and archetype despite the drastic change in genre. Additionally, if you've chosen Evo types in a round of Mind Training, you gain up to 2 legacy attacks, which are dependent on the character used to make the Evo type. Legacy attacks can also be upgraded similar to your other moves, and provide some interesting utility. There is an overarching story that unfolds as you complete Mind Trainings. It might be interesting to some, but does not connect to the actual Blazblue universe in any way. If you are a Blazblue lorehead, this game will not provide you anything of substance, as far as I know. Entropy Effect also features both online and local co-op, a welcome addition to a lot of indie roguelikes. There are crossover characters from other notable indie titles, like Icy, opening the possibilities for many interesting cameos. I also think the game just looks good and sounds good. Though the art style is a little uninspired, the way they've shaded everything and how it accompanies the music is just solid overall. Blazblue Entropy Effect turns out to be a solid product. Perhaps the success of this game will encourage ArcSys to experiment more with their original IPs. Maybe we'll get another Guilty Gear 2 Overture.